Welcome everybody to the March 27th meeting of the WEF Board of Directors. Let's do introductions. We will start on my left.
Okay, I'm Todd Hunter. Among other things, I am the Vice Chair and Head of the Nominating Committee.
Andrew Cardinal, Secretary, host of Over the Edge.
Sandra Otten, I'm Treasurer and host of See Progressive News and Friday Morning Menu.
Denise, the alter ego. I'm on the board and on the Pledge Drive Committee, and I have a Tuesday morning show and a Thursday evening show.
I'm Lainey, I'm Station Manager.
I'm Vicki Max.
Andy Eisman, I'm the archivist, I'm here on the board of directors, and I have a show, Civil Disobedience, which is on Tuesday nights.
Jermaine Raymer, Board Chair, getting ready to propose a show.
Cool.
My name's Rob Getaway, and I was involved with WEF like 29 years ago, so I recently moved back to the area.
Oh!
So, yes, I
We
will talk.
Okay.
So I was just sitting in to listen to see how things went and see if they were anything like they used to be, which can be good and bad.
Can I get your last name
Depends
again
on
for
which
the
little
minutes?
area you were part of.
Well,
Welcome, yeah.
How do you spell your name for the minutes? Your last name?
He's
Got
got
it
one.
hard.
Yep.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, I've actually been trying to encourage him for like a couple of years. He lives across the way from me to come, so I'm really happy he's
Yeah, that's
finally
awesome.
had time.
We were talking and I was in the booth and I wrote his phone number down and then I closed the document and didn't save it.
I would have guessed you were 29, but that doesn't seem mathematically possible.
Oh, no.
I guess getting away from WEF preserved you.
okay, so approval of agenda. One thing you guys will notice is that this agenda is, some of the numbers have changed from what I sent out.
Okay.
Well, so I might need to have your copy because I only have the one that you sent out.
Oh, okay,
Some of the numbers meaning.
the resolution numbers.
Oh.
Oh, so nothing about the actual agenda?
Just the order of them or something?
So what are we looking at? So if we look at it, what I've added is we've had some questions lately about people have seen approval of alcohol waivers and other things, and so people have asked about the alcohol policy and how they do waivers. And in the Treasure Trove of documents I have, I could not find a written document of it. And so I thought it'd be good to formalize that process. So what I've actually created is a policy and also a kind of a waiver approval form.
That's wonderful. When we had the previous discussion about the policy, I really suggested that if we were going to break and allow one person or one group to do it, we should at least set up a policy
So
and set procedure and stuff.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
So you'll see two forms there. It'll be 05 and 06.
I see 3.
I don't see any.
Whereabouts in this
Here we,
package?
no, it's coming around.
It's coming
Yep,
around.
yep.
Oh, okay.
Hey, we're both targets.
I don't need that.
Is there two things here that I'm supposed to?
Yeah. And then also, Sandra, did you have any details for the NFCB thing? Did you have any
This
details?
was, how many pages are here?
The one of them is 1 page and the other is 2.
Okay, so that's something different.
Here, I'll take one.
How about that?
Those look
Wait,
like the
oh,
same
wait,
page.
here.
These are different.
No.
So while they're sorting that, what is
Oh
the
my
issue with the
That's one
NFCB?
packet.
Sandra sent out a request for us to talk about potentially going to.
Yeah, we can talk about it during the budget discussion of the treasurer's report, that would be the place to start, I think.
Can
Well,
I
I was
ask
just curious what it was since he.
Oh,
we were looking at-
what the NFCB is, or?
Or no, just,
what the thing was?
yeah, it's
I'm
this
going to the-
potential resolution, and so I was like, are they?
There's a resolution, she was talking about going to the NSCB convention or conference.
Okay.
That's what, I don't know if it's a resolution, but that's what she was.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
What would
It's all
we
the
need?
same.
What I'm asking is, would you be asking for money from WFT? Would you?
There's one set. Yes.
I've got it. You have it?
Miley needs one then.
I just need,
So Sandra, would you be requesting money for?
Yes.
To go?
I would be.
Okay, so yeah, there would need to be a resolution to approve that, all that.
There's resolutions, alcohol form, and the
Can
procedure.
I add an agenda item or ask for
I'm
one?
gonna ask for one too, as soon as I can figure this
Whatever
out.
we
Board
get one.
resolutions.
Alright,
Todd has his hand.
Yes.
For like 5 minutes.
okay.
Yeah, so, I did not understand in going over this why we have public participation at the beginning and then we have public comment all the way at the end.
There are two different things, so, one of them is to talk about what's on the agenda, and then the other one is to talk about any other issue.
That's new then, right?
Nope, been that way for 3 months.
Well, it's new with you.
Oh, yeah.
I've never heard of it before you.
Well, he did have it on the, it was that way
Okay,
last.
but there wasn't a printed copy, so I didn't follow.
It's-
Oh, I see,
Right.
okay.
It's borrowing more of the city council.
Okay.
Public board kind of format.
The one other question I had, since we have 2 documents pertaining to the missing alcohol waiver, do we need an agenda item for that, or? Because I don't see anything on here about,
It's on there.
It's on there.
well, I see alcohol
New business.
waiver, but that's all I see.
There's alcohol policy and alcohol waiver. Under 7?
Yeah, they're A and B.
I must have a different page from everyone else, is that, wait,
Here's 3 pages that you should have.
I think he's looking at the agenda.
Oh.
Yeah, the agenda.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
it says
The agenda.
alcohol waiver, and then it says attendance at NFCB, I don't see anything about.
Okay, new business, A, alcohol here.
I feel like the waiver and policy.
Oh, yeah, somehow I got an old one.
Waiver.
Okay.
I don't know
Okay.
how, but,
Yeah,
oh, well, then I should not have the old one.
I
okay.
would like to request that the, vote on minutes from closed session, be discussed in closed session before we vote.
Okay,
So maybe move them to the end after we come back out of closed session.
okay,
Jermaine, I have 3 old copies, I can't find the new
That
one.
seems reasonable, yeah,
okay,
that makes sense.
that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah, these are all old.
anybody else?
Can I look at
Yeah,
yours?
yep.
Sure.
So I'm gonna have a question about if we can, get me on the board without doing a separate mailing, if there's any chance I could
There's
be.
a totally a way to do that. We have several open board seats, or
Right.
elected seats.
That would save us money, I think.
It would.
Yeah, so,
We still have to send out a call for members, but
Yeah.
oh,
we
we
wouldn't
do?
have.
Yeah, we
if-
still have to.
But we wouldn't have to if nobody responds that they wanna run through a or through a member elected seat, then you could just run as a board elected member, and that, actually, Don Davis did that the last time.
Do you know
he ran.
when that would be? Could we do it anytime? I
We
could be
could
a
do
board
that.
elected member
You
when
could
my.
announce tonight and run next month.
I don't think I
and be
need to. I think I'm
elected.
already, I'm still on till.
You're still on till
the end of
July, yeah.
Okay, so
Well, the
that
end of
doesn't
June.
need to be on the
Right.
agenda then, okay. I
If
just
you do it
wanted
by
to-
May, and all the paperwork signed, you could do it at the June meeting.
Okay, does that need to go into the minutes at all?
No.
Probably
No.
not. Okay.
Okay,
So also just to say that the podcast is gonna be a little wider discussion, it's gonna be about, hosting shows at other places and how it intertwines with, how that intertwines with, the resolutions that are RRT resolutions, our Vision 2020 resolutions.
Okay.
So podcast would be a wider discussion.
okay. Anybody else with agenda?
I have one thing.
Okay,
You had requested us to look at the, self-checklist thing. You had asked us to look at the, self-checklist, that thing, the,
FCC
Oh.
self-inspection
Yes.
checklist.
so just to add that quick discussion, an update.
Was this from the last board meeting?
yeah. So, can we slide that into your station manager report?
Sure.
Alright,
Should we have treasurer's report with you?
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, yeah.
alright.
I didn't get one.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make it, now that I've seen it.
Second.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Okay, public.
Did you wanna add anything? Do you wanna have a speak?
It's the
I'd
way
just
for
like to
public has a
listen today.
participation.
Okay.
Who moved and seconded on that
I
one?
moved.
And Vicky.
And you second?
Vicky.
VN second, okay.
All right.
Sneaking
VN,
before.
yes. Shorthand is overtaking my normal speech right now. If I
Alright.
start spelling things with the 3, you can shoot me.
So now we go to open minutes from 2:27. Any edits?
I noticed a lot that are saved on my computer. I could always take them up with Andrew. They're pretty minor, but
Okay.
there were a couple of things we're talking about. Oh, like associates is spelled with a Y here.
Okay, yes.
I think most of it is self-explanatory.
Okay.
I spelled associates with a Y?
Associatius. It looks sort of Russian.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Just, it says that CU Progressive News has picked up Sprouts. I think they just mean the programming committee has picked up Sprouts.
Oh,
CU
my
Progressive
bad.
News hasn't.
I think it was actually supposed to be that the PC committee mentioned Sprouts to CUPM to see if maybe you guys wanted to get a show.
Oh, right.
I wasn't here, so I'm not exactly
Right,
sure,
right.
but that was the gist of what we kind of.
Let's just
discussed at
strike that
PC
from the
meeting,
minutes.
so-
It doesn't really need to be
Okay.
in there. That line can be out.
Andrew, one is just accrual with single C instead of double C.
Okay.
Not a big deal.
Okay. Anybody
Must
else?
have missed that
I
one.
just,
Yes, Denise.
I don't know if this is relevant for, the board here thing, but I just have a comment regarding airshifter training.
Mhm.
And scheduling an airshifter training for an hour show does not work. I mean,
Okay.
even if we stay over, it's too much for 1
Okay.
hour. Try to do everything in the booth in 1 hour, and then what we don't cover, try to cover it out in the Great Hall or whatever. It doesn't work.
Okay, all right, well, that was a
Yes,
concern,
yes.
for sure.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, well, so now we
Yeah,
know.
thank you.
Alright.
Was this talked about the meeting or is this outside?
No, this is
I'm
just
sorry,
between
I
Denise
didn't
and
know
me.
if it was like
Oh,
relevant to
okay, I
this,
see.
but I just wanted to kind of like.
Alright.
So anyway.
I'll
So,
put it as a note during the minutes.
okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes with those amendments.
I will look forward,
Oh, and it's progressive news, not progressive new.
We're
Yeah.
striking that whole sentence.
Okay.
Okay, so with the amendments. Motion?
motion made.
Second,
Alright,
well, Andy beat me.
Denise is on this week.
alright. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait, sorry.
What?
Yeah?
I moved that the on-air ID be stated as WEFT Champaign, Urbana and surrounding areas, seconded by BT, moved to PC by moved to programming committee
Yes.
by acclamation. So
Okay.
it's not accepted. Is that what we're saying there? Is that what we did?
That's what we did last month.
Yeah, we moved it to the PC.
But we didn't accept it.
No,
No, we did
no,
not.
we did
No.
not approve that change.
Right, so maybe it just needs to be a little bit clearer that this was, instead of just saying move to PC by acclamation, maybe
Yeah.
that's clear enough, or you could be a little clearer and just say,
Referred
re-
to.
yes, move back to the
Okay.
PC
Okay,
by,
how
something
about,
like that.
everyone go ahead and send me anything you'd
fine.
like to change to that?
Okay,
Moved to referred, just because moved can mean firsted,
yeah, move,
Okay,
okay,
referred.
referred back to PC by acclamation or something like
Okay.
that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Same sign. Ayes have it. Reports. Treasurer.
All right, does everybody have a copy of the treasurer's report? Yes?
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do you want one?
Sure.
Okay. One more. One left. Okay, there's 6 pages of it. I'm gonna go over the text part of it first. Last month, I reported that year-to-date, we were 62.27 in the positive for the fiscal year through January 2017. There was a slight adjustment. It's only 41.65 to the positive. This month, we're 3,421 to the negative, which leaves our balance year-to-date at 3,380 negative. Our budget, which we projected would be operating at $9,000 loss for the year, so that when we passed the budget last September, we knew that we weren't gonna break even this year. We knew we were gonna be $9,000 in the hole, best case scenario. So that had us at a loss for this period at 3,900 by the end of February, so we're just slightly better than expected on paper. So it looks like we're kind of on budget, because we knew we were gonna lose $9,000, that would have put us $3,000 at this time of the year. That's where we're at, on paper. However, I looked at our accounts receivable, and there was money in there that it was expected to have through invoicing underwriters in 2016, who have never come through, as well as pledge drives that have not come through. And we'll have to take those from 2016 as a loss in 2017. Had we had a sharp treasurer, she would have done that before we closed out 2016, but I didn't, and nobody else did either, so it didn't happen. So we have about, I think it'll be 3,500 to 4,000. I think it will actually be exactly 35. I have the number, but it's right around there. So that will have to be shown as a negative in this year's budget. That's how it's going to look. In addition, this includes $5,000 of pledge drive goal as already on the books for February, although it will have been received in March, but that's how the accrual system works, you know. So that was the donation that I'm making, and we're putting it on the books in February. So that's where that is, and it includes that. So that's also why it looks like we're on target. And just as a reminder to people, remember that when we did the budget with $22,000 of the TV station money, or my money, or however you want to put it, but the $22,000 of that money. And so far, that the budget we've given about 16,000 of it, so that's already on the books for this year. So that's part of the reason we're doing okay, but just keep that in mind. So we have about 6,000 left to give from that if the TV station doesn't go for auction and I lose the money.
So that hasn't, I mean, you were scared that was gonna happen
It
like a
hasn't,
couple months
yeah,
ago.
it hasn't happened yet.
No one's buying TV stations.
Well,
apparently.
you know, with the FCC and Trump and all that, it could be it could happen fast when it happens, and who knows, but.
Hey, question.
Yeah.
Ricky, were you around when we switched to a accrual?
No.
No, I was not.
Cause
I remember Mark was on the board at that time, and I remember him talking about it, but I don't.
Cause I'm trying to remember why we
did.
made that change.
Okay, so I did talk to Jason, our CPA, about it today at length, because we were talking about why and how and if we should move, because I was convinced, like, I'm sick of this accrual system, I hate trying to figure it out, blah, 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 blah. But he says, and it does make sense, when you're working with pledges, you do have to have a way to invoice people. You do have to, I mean, we would have that anyway, but you really, that is how stations that do pledges do it. They say you have to have your pledge in before the end of the year because this is where our budget's going to be, but you know, and I don't know. The thing that we need to make sure of, Lainey, the bookkeeper, Jason, whoever, is that we keep an eye on our accounts receivable. And as soon as it's not going to happen, we need to get it off. Yes, we have to invoice Kane and Company, but as soon as we know, like we've contacted them 3 times, they're not going to pay, we need to get it off. But anyway, I'm not going to facilitate us moving from accrual to cash, probably. Unless our bookkeeper would really be for it and help me figure it out, because I don't want to go through the nightmare. I think it's a nightmare being in accrual, but it'd be a bigger nightmare switching over.
I remember that it was a nightmare switching.
Yeah,
to
it was.
I bet it was.
Do we remember what year? Because I feel like that predates me being on the board.
It doesn't really matter, but
I had a question.
Yeah.
Why is there someone who wants us to use the accrual method? I'm just curious.
somebody did when they voted to do it, and it's hard to switch back and forth.
I didn't know if there was some loan we were accountable to, or like bank or
No,
something. that
no,
required
no,
us.
not that.
Has more to do with the pledges.
Yeah, that you want to count that money as, you know. Okay, so I'm not convinced that Laney and I are the right people to be doing the bookkeeping. And I'm proposing for the month of March that we outlay at least $500 to help us with bookkeeping through the pledge drive. I've got a bookkeeper who's familiar with both systems, accrual and cash, that's what I was thinking about both. And has worked for a not-for-profit, sending me a resume. I do have it. I'd like her to meet with Laney next week and see if there's something she can do to give relief to this process during the pledge drive. And then if she can, then she might be the person to hire on a more permanent basis. She works for between $13 and $15 an hour. I'm quite sure that Laney needs to keep on working on underwriting. I said underwriting, even through Pledge Drive. And I just think it'll come to a halt if she's doing all the bookkeeping for Pledge Drive, if she's trying to get everything in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right, there's no doubt that underwriting, you look at the numbers, needs to keep increasing if we're to land anywhere near the budget for this year, even if we meet our Pledge Drive's goal. But the good news is we didn't have to dip into savings to make it to Pledge Drive. So, that is, yeah, it's something,
Okay.
it's an accomplishment. So, and a lot of the way we're gonna be measuring our success going forward is how soon we have to dip into savings, because we have less than, as we know, we had lost $15,000 2 years in a row. We're trying to only lose $9,000 this year. We have $30,000 in savings is the basic gist of it. And that's the gist of it.
Okay.
I'm not done. So I want you to look at the numbers and kind of be aware of what you're looking at here. Because when you're looking at the balance sheet, it'll show over there, that's on page 2, that our accounts receivable is $14,681. That attributes to the fact that our, total liabilities and equities at the bottom is $98,000. That's going to go down next month by that $4,000 that I write off. So there won't be that much accounts receivable next month. Also, then the next page where you're looking, it says 1 of 3 at the top. So your first column there was our year-to-date numbers, October 16th to the end of February. So that's how much money we've taken in every category up through where it says expenses, and then you start how much money we've outlaid in every category. And that compares to the budget so far for that partial year too. Go ahead, you have a question?
Yeah. Our pledge drive was in September. So how did we get $18,332 in October?
Oh, was that your big donation, one of them?
That was actually the question I had with that.
It must be, because it's not under anything else there.
Can we confirm that?
Yeah, I think probably.
Well, yes, it would be. That would be because 10,000 of it. And then probably the rest is what came in.
We do get like trickle-in donations
Okay.
from Pledge Drive for a long time. I don't know if they would be $8,000 worth.
But if if they pledge during the pledge drive, whether it's there or not,
It should be
counted
counted.
in
right,
September.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's accrual.
But if they didn't pledge it though, it wouldn't have. So like.
Yeah, $8,000 is
Right,
a
that's
lot
what I'm
of
saying.
trouble.
That's,
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Well, it's the winter.
A winter appeal would have been in October.
Right.
Well, why do you think it's in October? That's October through February.
Oh, so
So
Winter appeal.
the winter, no, it says special appeal
oh,
up above.
That's a little low for what we've gotten.
We
yeah.
did
Yeah,
not
two-
get very much from special appeal,
Okay.
from winter appeal this year. Just a minute.
No.
Well, anyway, the total amount is right. It's $10,000 was the donation from the TV station thing.
Okay, and that was after pledge drive, so that accounts for that.
Do you remember when last month we were looking at it and it was accounting them to pledge drives and you had a list of them? You had written them all out and you said, why are they going to pledge drives? And it was something back in QuickBooks from Jason, but you found them all and you knew it.
Well, can we figure out
Yeah,
why? Because that's like,
Can we just have a follow-up email,
yeah,
like, we
that's a
found
pretty
it?
big thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next column is, it's gonna be all the same numbers, but it's compared to the next column that you're looking at, which is the year-to-date budget. Let me think if that's right. Why do we have two columns there? October 17th. Those are the same all the way down. What am I thinking? Budget. It was a long day Sunday. I think those columns are the same. I wanted to get it, I wanted to get it compared to the annual budget so you could really see what the annual budget is, not just the year-to-date budget, and that's just the way the report printed out. So you can sort of ignore column 4 and 5, and then you'll do know what our annual budget is there. So we're expecting to get business support of $36,000. Do you see that in that total 4,400? That's, that's where we really have our lofty goal. And that's where we're falling short, and we need to keep paying attention to it and freeing Lainey up as much as we can to get the underwriting happening. That's all I can say about that. We could
other things, because like she's been doing the fundraising and other stuff, but yeah.
I do think, sorry, if you can finish.
Well, I could, it wouldn't hurt for you to hear what the challenges are with underwriting, if you want to hear that. I think she's
No, I'm just saying it, as we know from the
just
job description, it's not just underwriting, it's also other things like fundraising as well. I agree with you, bringing in money is important, I'm just saying it's just, there's also some other things that have also been bringing in money and that she's also working on.
Yeah, we did have one station manager who just didn't pay the bills from.
Well,
us,
the thing that I wanted to stress is to give Lainey a chance to say, I think we're gaining momentum with underwriting, but I want you to know how hard it is, how big a ship it is to turn around. And not just because underwriting is hard, sales is hard to begin with, but because we've dug ourselves into a hole. You want to talk about it at all?
We can now. I do think it, when I'm doing sales, which, like we said, it is a bit of a time commitment, which is fine. I'm not hesitant to do it. I do enjoy it. I love it. But when you're trying to do sales and, there's two avenues I go. I'm either doing it because they are a stable business and they can support us as a nonprofit, or they're a small business and they need cheap advertising or affordable advertising. Yeah. Well, if they've never heard of Wes and they don't know what we are, that's hard. And I think that goes back to programming, which is improving, but we have to improve our listenership because I can't sell them advertising when they've never listened to Wes. They don't see it as valuable.
Okay.
So I think that's been the biggest issue. Also during it, I have past station manager had set a really bad reputation out there, which has been a huge issue for me. They'll say, oh, well, she screamed in my face, whatever. So that's been a battle, definitely with it. Or saying like, well, I did it, and then nobody followed up with me for a year, 6 months to a year, and so we're not doing it again. So it's trying to rebuild that reputation, rebuild those bridges, so it is hard. So do I realistically think $36,000 is possible? Probably not. I'm just being honest. I'm going to keep trying, but I do think we need to look at other opportunities for fundraising and ways to replace that income. Not replace underwriting, but supplement. Exactly.
All right, do I have
I agree.
Do I have a motion on the treasurer's report?
Actually, I was about to ask.
Okay.
Make a quick point. Years ago, I was asked to go ahead and talk to one of our oldest underwriters who had been, not underwriting for a while, Murph of Mike and Molly's, back when the bar was still in business. He said one of the major reasons he was no longer using us for underwriting was our current inability to tell how many FM band listeners we had.
That is a question.
And yes, it's like
always been
almost
a problem.
it's
It's
almost
not a
simple.
current thing. It's always been that
yes. He apparently thinks at one point we were able to do this, and I can't.
way. No.
Well,
Mick might have made up some numbers.
I was told
That's
that
possible.
you can, but you have to pay a lot for the study.
Yes.
Yeah, but we have that email from the guy who is trying to sell us the service that says we have 6,000 listeners. That's what he says I haven't showed you that email. John Wasson got it about a year ago, and he would just happen to.
But I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
not reliable enough to cite.
No, you can't publish it. You can't because we didn't pay for it.
Right.
But I'm just saying that we do have some things to talk about. But I'm going to get back to the subject, and I want to spend. I don't want to be rushed into just approving the treasurer's report because it's more than just approving the treasurer's report. I've taken the time to really think about this week, and I want us to really know that we we have a budget that can look okay on paper, but it is not, it's not happening, and we need to be really aware of it, because there's, we could talk about everything else and none of it matters. I know that that's a narrow way to look at it, but, it is true also, you know, that if we don't figure this piece out and really figure out what can we do differently financially, the alcohol policy doesn't matter. The anything doesn't matter. So I want us to really hear that. And it's interesting because it's not the same board that we had when other things happened. But, you know, the fact that we didn't do underwriting for 3 years, and you may say, oh, we need to look at different avenues, but we can't look at different avenues. We don't have different avenues to look at. Well, underwriting is, there's a lot of businesses in this town. There's a lot of people who do know about WEFT. We're making such great strides in doing better PR and getting our programming, and we really have to figure out how to get the underwriting piece to shore this up. That's my opinion, but it's what I have.
So I'll give you an example. Recently, I've been working with Shipyard for a while to do a group. And
With what?
Yeah, Shipyard.
Downtown
I have a gaming group, and we've been doing that for about a year. So this year we were going back with them. My boyfriend actually runs the group. And so they mentioned they were looking for an opportunity for fundraising. There's nothing about underwriting. Fundraising. They like to just do something like maybe for the St. Patrick's Day thing, $1 per cup or something. And so I was like, well, we'd like to take you up on that. After I started talking to him about that, that's when I was able to slide in the underwriting. So what I'm saying is they don't have to be opposed to each other.
I know.
They can actually work well with each other. And in fact, fundraising, like little small things like that, and even this one didn't work, but yet we were possibly getting under. We actually do have other things now with them, a relationship set up not just by underwriting, but actually initially by fundraising.
So basically,
And just
foot
kind
in
of
the door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So again, I don't think they're opposed to each other. I think they can support each other. But you need to kind of do all of them, because if I'd just gone to them like, WEFT, like, you know, here's what WEFT is, and we would like send like the underwriting, it
would have fallen.
yeah, I think.
Well, and as
I
Laney
agree.
said, if we're rebuilding bridges because we deeply offended people, we can't just go in and say,
Right, so
Give me
then,
the money.
that's what I'm saying,
Okay.
in some
And we do
yeah.
have underwriting on the agenda later.
We
and
do.
I'm gonna try to.
We could also talk about more. I agree with you, Andy, and we'll talk about that in the Vision 2020 resolution thing when we talk about the podcast too.
Before you end your report, Amber, I found that $18,000,
Oh.
we made that up. Do you want that now?
Sure.
I would.
Okay, so that 18,000, and this is a QuickBooks thing, which, Jason can fix. There are multiple classes that are making up that account on the profit and loss. So even though it says pledge drive, if you open that folder, it says all of these other things are in there. So Jason has to separate that.
Oh yeah, we'll need that fixed.
Who is
Right.
Jason?
Jason is the CPA
CPA.
accountant. So in that is fall pledge drive from October, it was like 10 to 15, which is normal. Miscellaneous donations, which there are a few went
10 to
away.
15 what?
No,
1,000?
people.
15
Like,
people. I don't
people
know.
She
sorry.
said donations.
Yeah, so just, fall drive, 10 to 15 people with their donations, their invoices, or payments. Miscellaneous donations are under that, it's a separate class under that account. Winter mailing, give big, community shares, and spring pledge drive. 01 from now, that invoice from fall.
Okay, so
So-
it's not
Right.
pledge drive.
Right,
Okay.
so when you click open that pledge drive folder, it lists, like I found this list of things, so we need to separate those out. They're separated by class, but they need to be separated into an account,
Okay,
so that's what they are,
that's great. Thank you, Laney.
yes. You're welcome.
All right, that's all.
All right. Motion to approve.
Sure.
Second. Okay. All's in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. All right.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Idea.
Well, yeah. First it's executive and then.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought that's right.
So as the executive committee reports as we met, I've just kind of touched on the documents presented last month to tighten some of those up. that was really the main thing. We just wanted to try to make sure those were nailed down in place for this month.
Could I slip something in here? Jermaine asked me about a month ago as vice chair if I would take over scheduling the meetings, and we tried to schedule a meeting, an EC meeting for February, and we tried to schedule one for about 3 weeks in March, and finally I realized that we had exactly 1 weekday left before the board meeting after having agreed that we would not meet on weekends. So if there's any way the 5 officers could come up with some day that sometimes works, I would like to give at least a whole week's notice so it's not a surprise to anybody. But if we've X'd out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it doesn't leave a lot of time to plan a meeting when we're not ever all in the same place except at meetings. So if there's any way we could either standardize that and we can do that over email as long as we agree to follow up.
I've always been a fan of scheduling a day of the week, like the second Tuesday of the month.
Sure, I like that idea
Yeah.
too. It's just we haven't found a day, and Andrew's schedule just changed, although I think it's better now.
Yeah, I work 10 to 5, 5 days a week now, so it's very, very odd for me. Your day star burns my flesh, people. I'm not used to this.
Isn't Monday your best day though?
I hate Mondays.
I
I'll stop paraphrasing Garfield right now.
think we established it has to be either a Wednesday or Thursday if Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are out. But
I would prefer Thursday between the two.
which is when we
Okay,
met, but
so
only
we'll-
3 of the 5 of us.
If I had any
Yeah.
advance notice,
And as I said, I want to give at least a week's notice.
sure,
It was
Thursday's actually only fine for me.
Okay,
So we'll do that over email.
excellent.
For anything else, programming, Gina.
Hi. I submitted the minutes of the meeting that we had on, March 7th, which are in your packet. I don't know if anybody has any questions about that. We do have, we temporarily approved a couple of programs, one being Chris Hutchinson. He's doing Metal Mafia.
Yeah.
Saturday, 2:00 in the morning till 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
It's
he
good to get
works-
something in the slots.
He works nights, so.
Yeah, it's good, it's metal back on there.
That
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
When does that start?
He actually started, it's been on for a couple of weeks.
I don't think he was there this time.
Really? This past Saturday?
Friday night, Saturday morning?
Saturday morning?
Yeah, he wasn't there,
2 to 4. Really?
because I was there,
Okay.
and
Well,
I
then I will find out what's going on.
I saw him in that slot before he had the show, but I've never seen him again, so.
He covered TI one night,
Right,
totally irrelevant.
and he stayed afterwards.
Right, and then he came in and proposed on the 7th, and we tentatively approved him then.
And I'm not looking to rat him out, it's news to me, because I was there all Friday night.
Yep.
No, perhaps you
I
can
will
get
check
the
with him.
email saying, confirming that he had a spot or something.
Because it was temporarily.
That's what I'm wondering, maybe he was
approved because we
confused.
didn't have quorum,
Right,
I didn't go through all the motions.
maybe that's why, maybe he wasn't sure if he had the.
No, he,
Okay.
May
I
as
don't
well
know.
ask.
I'm pretty sure he was sure,
Okay.
but I will follow up.
I mean, you can check the recording if there's any doubt.
Eric Dixon also, put in a proposal, I've contacted him to see if he would be willing to take on a different time slot than what he asked for. I guess I never heard him before, but I guess he's been on the radio and in media here in town for 35 years or so,
Oh, good.
so.
What's
be
the
something-
station, do you know, or?
I don't know,
Okay.
he didn't put that on his, proposal.
What kind of show is it?
R&B,
Okay.
blues, soul,
When's it proposing for?
Monday night 6 to 8, Friday night 8 to 10. Which, neither one of those are open right now.
Wow.
So
What was the
I'm-
second time?
I'm trying to be.
Friday 8 to 10.
Right, so I've been in touch with him, we've missed each other a couple times, but hopefully we'll get something straightened out on that. We have a Grateful Dead proposal that we'll be talking about tomorrow night. It looks like they're ready to go as soon as they're approved, the collective. I'm not sure about the financials about that. I know that we used to pay David Gans to air his show. I believe what I understand is that David Gans is waiving his fee and that the collective will put together some fundraisers and he'll be happy to take whatever they get from that fundraiser. So I don't think there'll be any kind of billing through us, but I will verify that with David, with Sonny.
Can we follow up with that when we get to PR?
Sure. I do have another proposal.
Is it you?
Not yet.
That again, we'll be talking about tomorrow night. I guess that's it, as far as programming goes.
If I could offer just one update, while I don't foresee there would be any further problem anyway, the guy that was swearing so much, has a lease in Austin and will be moving away very soon, so.
That's part of, yes, he's part of that show.
He was kind
But
of the,
he's still gonna be on air from there.
really?
He's gonna,
Oh, well
he's
then
gonna
you're,
tunnel in.
you're more on top of this than, anyone else, so it was
That's
just
her
appropriate.
job.
I was gonna say,
Good at her job.
Yep.
She is.
you have the news before it happens.
The other guy.
Thank you, Gina.
Oh, I guess one other thing,
Okay.
I got to be part of air shifter training, and we had a great turnout. A lot of the folks that came were deadheads, which was, to some of the folks, a little bit, they've suggested that maybe we not have so many deadheads in one place at the same time. Because they kind of intermingled and talked amongst themselves while training was going on.
Oh,
But
boy.
anyway, we had a real good turnout with 16 people. I did second training for someone yesterday who's gonna be subbing when we're making waves this coming week.
Oh, yay.
So, yeah,
This
so,
was a good group that actually followed through.
Yeah.
You know, we usually have quite a bit of drop off, but they hung in there.
Good.
Good.
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, Gina.
Yes, thanks.
All right. Financial development.
Oh,
Vicky?
hi. I did want to add one thing to programming, and that is regard to trainees. We had 16 of them. They all, I think except for one, finished their training, but when I
Wow.
looked at the book today, there were only 4 completed forms in there. So do you have any idea where those completed forms are?
Are they doing that?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we've not, I mean, no, I meant, are the forms being done?
Yes, yeah.
No, none have ever been given to me, ever.
Okay, well, they should, typically the trainers just put them back in that binder,
Right,
but I only saw 4 of them in there. So
yeah.
we wanna make sure they get added to WebDo as their,
Yeah, we've had, you've been copied on the ones that people have followed up. Certain trainers have followed up via email, like, oh, you know, touching base, saying that they're done, and we've been adding them that way, but other than that, that's all I've ever done.
I think the last one I handled, I may have just slipped it under the station manager door, but other than that,
Yeah, I've never seen one.
okay.
I don't remember when it
I'll,
was.
I'll put out a note to the trainers and say,
Yeah.
hey, if you're holding on to these
Probably.
somewhere.
Yeah, or if you forgot to fill it
Yeah.
out, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
alright. So financial development, couple things on that. I haven't been able to do anything, and I'm not gonna be able to do anything with it. I have just quit my show because I am working full-time now.
Okay.
And so I can't say that I'm gonna be able to, so somebody else is gonna have to take that up. I'm doing about half of my time on the road these days,
Ooh.
Wow.
so.
Okay.
I had to give up my show because that's a whole day of the week, you know? So that's really tough.
Yeah.
Is anybody interested in picking up financial development?
What is it? What is financial?
Financial development is kind of being in control of the fundraising committee. So coming up with ideas on how to raise money, so from fundraisers to grants to, you know, from soup to nuts to fundraising. It's trying to coordinate. That's where that's from.
Yeah.
So trying to figure it out and piece of fundraising plan together, and that's pretty much it.
And the biggest piece of it is trying to get other people who are gonna
We should ask
Yeah.
be the rest of the committee.
Of course.
That's the other big piece.
All right.
Let's give it a thought, because I'd potentially think about it, but I'd also want to see who else to be working with, because there'd be other people,
Okay.
perhaps moving forward that would be working together.
Well,
but so let's maybe think about it.
We'll give.
Maybe I'll warn you, let's maybe think about it, is how a lot of people became chair for 6 years.
Sure, but this gives you at least another month.
We'll give people a month, and we'll come at it
Sign
next.
her up.
We'll come at it next board meeting.
Human resources.
Community advisory.
Potentially sign me up with Andy.
Okay.
Potentially.
Community advisory.
As I believe we are still on hold on that, well, Andy, you've probably been more in touch with people than I've had a chance
No, actually, I
with.
meant to get in touch with you to see what you,
Then we're going to have to say we are, since we've got a distinct lack of committal in a hurry up and wait pattern.
yes. I just actually wanted to, we just need to, between the two of us, set a date, and then I think that will help both of us, because
Yeah.
A
it
new
will
date.
give us a impetus to really,
I think,
start checking in with people and see if we can
Let-
get on board.
I think perhaps maybe we should just go ahead and put out some sort of poll to our people who are interested of, hey, what day of the week can you make it?
I know, there's too many people, I think.
Oh, just,
That's gonna be
actually
chaos.
just set a date and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who makes
I
it,
think that'd
makes
be
it,
easier,
who
yeah.
doesn't, doesn't.
Because we can set it like a month and a half
Yeah.
ahead or something,
Yep.
so that they've got time to plan, but, and this is not, would be a weekly, it would not be a monthly event anyway.
No, it's a quarterly to semi-annual.
Yeah,
Right.
And if you set a date, the people there can plan for everybody else
Yep,
yeah.
for next time.
alright, human resources.
I don't think we meant to talk about it, but I don't think there was any issue to.
Alright. Nominations?
Other than what we talked about at the EC meeting about being mindful of the dates for the member election, which it sounds like now the one candidate we had may be running through other means, so we will still need to get out a letter, but there's nothing that there's nothing that hasn't already been reported.
In finance?
When does that letter have to go out?
It usually goes out in May, because I remember I left before it, at Memorial Day, and you were talking about wanting to do the letter, so I would say preferably the first part of May rather than the last part of May, but.
I would think so, but you have to have time for it
Right.
to come back and then
Right.
to send out the ballots
Right.
and all that business.
But, yeah, certainly not in March, so as long as by the April EC meeting, we have revisited that, we're right on time.
I think that documents folder that I gave to Jermaine, there's a whole bunch, there's a, like a set of dates for,
Right.
you know, this has to be done by
Right.
this time. You might wanna check that.
Will do.
Finance, I've seen the report, basically we meet this month, but I wanna convene a meeting after pledge day, just to touch base on where we are with our finances and kinda prepare us to go into our, final push through the fiscal year, so,
That ends September.
yep. Alright.
Didn't you need a glass of water?
I'll just go get
Are you sure?
it. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I got a lozenge in my mouth right now.
Alright, Lainey,
Yes.
your
Okay,
turn.
well, you have my report.
Yes.
Let's see. I mean, if you read the report, do you have questions, I can start with that. Gotta find it.
I really appreciate getting it in advance of the meeting. I learned a lot.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I was trying to get that out there. It's been a busy month. Trying to get pledge drive off the ground, get us prepared. So I guess sorry, I should focus my thoughts. I'll talk about pledge drive mostly, because that's in this month.
Do you want questions at the end or during?
Let's do questions now,
Okay.
unless I answer them.
Well, I was maybe gonna prompt on some stuff you talked about, so you might go ahead and answer it.
Okay, let me just talk then.
Sure.
Don't forget them. So pledge drive has been, a big haul. This time, I'll say last fall pledge drive, I didn't feel prepared. It was my first one. I didn't know anything about pledge drive. So this time I had the experience, but I also spent a lot of time researching it. What's successful, what isn't, what do other radio stations do, what NPR stations do, everything. So I really felt like we are moving forward well. I know that research has been done in the past. I'm not saying whatever I'm gonna say here, but, so we're trying a lot of things this time, which I know you guys have tried in the past. We have created different rotational underwriting commercials or ads talking about, pledge drive coming up. We've put it in the booth several times. We're trying to utilize our airwaves really well. We're trying to utilize social media, and we have scheduled posts saying it's coming, to say what's going on. We're trying the two events, the art show with Boneyard, we're on their map, and doing the drag show. Hopefully we'll have gain more audience, get some more donations. We also had an event this Saturday that Sandra tabled, that we were part of with Charlie King. We also did a John Patterson fundraiser this weekend, and we got about $300 from that, so that was great. So we're doing all these things to, to add it up, and so I'm hoping they're gonna be successful. We created a pitch packet, which I'm sure you guys have seen me talking about a billion times. I hope that helps.
Is that at the station?
It is, yep, they're in the booth for you, they're right behind you, and it says Pledge Drive Station, or something on it. So, I'm not saying I'm, making a ton of changes, but I'm trying things that I didn't try last time, to help us be successful, so hopefully we get there. Also this month we did a Soundhouse concert with Denise, it was really successful, it was really great. We made about $350, which is one of the most we've made. We had a lot of new faces, a lot of returning faces as well. We've had a married couple who has only been a part of West at Soundhouse concert. They were the neighbor to Races, the lady who hosted the Races concert,
right.
and they came again because they're friends with Mike Feldman, and he told them so. So that was really cool, and she said this is a fun way to support West, and so she gives us money every time.
Since it was a success, where will the discussion of that continue?
Continuing
That-
Soundhouse concerts.
That kind of fundraiser?
So I think the financial development committee should discuss them, as well as PR should discuss them, because it's not just a financial thing, it's also new faces.
Right.
So I think it's kind of both, we need to look at the time commitment for them. This one didn't take much because Denise organized the band, so she probably put a lot more time in this time than we did. She had friendships with multiple band members or, family members, so that made it easier, but we did our normal stuff, but not as time requirements this time. So, I think Financial Development Committee should discuss that, and PR.
Yeah. I mean, and just very quickly, I think personally, one reason why I think the concert was so successful is because at my concert, I wanted to make sure that it was like open donation, whatever you could give, we would
Right.
accept, rather than, okay,
That's
it's gotta be
huge.
$20 at the door.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's gonna turn away a lot of people. Yes, I know some people wanna try to hit the more affluent people or whatever, but, sometimes when you just open up the donation box for open donations, you actually end up getting more than putting,
You
$20.
reaffirm every little bit helps.
I definitely
And so,
agree with
Yes, thank you.
There are,
Mhm.
since we've been doing Soundhouse concerts more, and we can talk about this as a committee or a group later, but, I have learned and done more research about them, there are a lot of house concerts in the area.
Oh, yes.
Frequently,
Oh, yes.
and I didn't know that, I'm not in the
Oh.
music scene, but they're usually $5 covers or nothing.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the ones I get emails about, they're always, if you don't have $20 and a covered
no,
dish,
no,
don't come.
No, it's like
Wow.
$5 and you're sitting
Yeah.
on the
That's why I've
floor.
only been to one.
We're talking like the ones in the basement.
Yeah,
Or-
the
The real house, yeah, that's.
say, I had
library
one-
house,
Yeah.
they're $5 and you sit, it's the atmosphere of it.
Yeah.
I had one in
Yeah,
my backyard
exactly.
years ago, we just did $5.
Right.
We had, I permission of all my neighbors.
Right,
$5,
but so I
yeah.
do think it opened, more people up to coming, they didn't feel like, oh gosh, we don't have the money, they just planned on coming and they gave what they could that day.
Yeah, I've started to
Most-
not come myself because I
Right.
was just like, I just can't afford that.
Right,
I'm just, I just can't
Yeah.
afford that.
right.
But I wanted to
So-
just support us.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Right.
I'm
So
sure other
in
people in that
that
situation.
conversation, I think instead of saying we require $20,
Yes.
I think we should talk with the host or the organization that's hosting it and say, you're inviting the list, like we'll invite Westies, but you're providing the guest list, you're inviting your friends, what do you think is feasible?
Okay.
I have one group who was interested and she thought $20 is not enough because she knows her supporters tend to donate more. They're considering it to be their once a year fundraiser. So she's like, could we make it, 30 or something? And so anyway, so I think those are things that we should talk about,
That's a good topic for financial.
yeah, I think that's something they should talk about. So
Could I ask a main question? Just thinking about fundraisers I helped with in the past, there were fundraisers that I couldn't necessarily afford to attend, but I
Sure.
wanted to volunteer before the event or after the event.
yeah.
Do these have, somebody like Denise, do you have need for people, or is it like a narrow space where you
We
don't?
have need, like,
Okay.
we could definitely use a volunteer
Okay.
because we have, for concerts, we'll go deliver chairs if needed, help
Trash
move
cans,
furniture,
yeah,
trash
move furniture.
cans.
Cause I could carry
Yeah.
stuff, certainly.
Right, so, you know, it's certainly helpful to have even an extra set of hands for Brendan and I to move couches, so definitely having volunteer help is so needed for
Okay,
it.
well, make sure I know the next
Yeah.
couple, and if it's a free date, then I can try to pencil it in.
That'd be
Let's say
great.
you could
Yeah.
always put up some sort of volunteer list in the station, see if anyone bites.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
the Weft Essentials or something, cause
Yeah.
I had no idea that there might be
That's a
some
good
help,
idea.
and like, yeah, I would've,
That's a good
I
idea.
like help.
I didn't think about that side.
Okay.
I'm good at it.
So then also this month, like Andy mentioned, we started doing a SIP yard fundraiser and, it was getting a lot of momentum and people were really excited, but you know, it's detailed in the report of why it didn't happen, it's unfortunate, but that relationship has still been building and
What station was that it was at?
I don't get it.
92.
I mean, why?
No, was it the rewind? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
92.5.
Just because another station is doing it, why can't we do it?
And we're
Or
not
somebody
commercial,
else?
it's a totally different type of
Exactly.
station,
I
I
tried
know.
really hard to explain that
Yeah.
to them, but they were really angry
What
about it.
I wish I
format
could
are
talk to them.
They are
Rewind.
rewind, so they play like oldies, I guess.
Oh, jeez.
But they were I kept, you know, assuring them we are not competitive with you,
Yeah.
I swear. They did not wanna hear it, and SIP yard owner took the brunt of it for
Oh.
me.
Well, there's,
So they weren't friendly about it.
you know, when you, in the business world, you know, often you do not wanna compete, even if you don't think they're competitive,
Right,
they often, you know, you'll see this a lot in the restaurant world, you'll see non-compete clauses, in the marketing world.
We have it in
A
the
restaurant will sign up as something and say, you cannot have another
Right.
restaurant, we
right.
are exclusively it.
Well, I guess I'm curious, had they worked it all out before us, and
So the other radio
Can we move off this topic? You
I
can
would,
discuss
I'd
it.
like to hear this from Lainey if it's all right. We spent a while on treasurer. I mean,
Yeah, we've got a lot, okay, fine.
So the radio station, I guess, worked with Urbana to set up the St. Patrick's Day festivities
Oh, okay.
in Urbana. I didn't really know that, I just heard there was a St. Patrick's Day parade. So I emailed who was hosting it, and I said, would it be possible for us to be part of it, blah, blah, they said no. So then SIP-Yard approached us and said, hey, do you guys wanna do a fundraiser for this day, we expect to be really busy. And we said, yeah, of course. I didn't know that the other radio station was a part of it, but since they were the host of all the festivities, and they were mentioning SIP yards and then they were having a pop-up party, that we were going to be there, they felt like it was, us taking over their event, because we were gonna do the bartending, we were staffing it for them, because SIP yard needed the help.
Sure.
So that's why they would give us the money for it, so.
That answers my
So,
question.
SIP yard was really nice about it, the other radio station just was like, no, we don't want them a part of it, it's competitive.
Thank you.
So, yep, so that was that,
Do you
I
have
can
anything
say that
else,
SIP
Laura?
did very well tonight, so definitely, in future, like, parade events, we should really try to put that up again.
so we're still working that relationship,
Anything
That's
else,
so.
anything else you wanna highlight, Lainey?
no, you guys can read it all, that's fine.
Oh, I had a question at the,
yes.
was that the, oh yeah. We went at the Illini Gadget Garage, and there's maybe a group that's going to be doing something with that, and something about an LGBTQ program.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the first time I've heard this, both sound
Yeah.
interesting, but what?
Yeah, so, the Gadget Garage is a group or an organization at U of I, and they fix electronics. Well, that is what they do there, but they're not gonna fix it for you. They will teach you how to fix it, and they will supervise you, and they have the tools and stuff, but it's free of charge, and they're teaching you, so it's really cool, so,
Yeah.
they helped us fix the issue that we weren't familiar with, and now we are, so I will really say this month would have been really stressful if we didn't have the knowledge to fix these CD players, like the bands and all of that, because we would have been down to no CD players and shelling out money like we had in the past, either to fix it or buy new ones. So that was a big win for us.
Thanks to Brian for doing a lot of that.
Yeah.
So we figured that out. He's confident in it now. So he was a little timid, but I just keep pushing him for it.
Any updates?
So he did the update for it. So we Googled and figured out. So there's that. We are losing drop-in programs right now. We at the end of March will not have any, although the drop-in proposal still stands for 5, so we are trying to refill them. Their lives have just changed, they can't fulfill it
So
anymore.
do we lose revenue?
No revenue,
Oh.
just programming.
Okay.
So We are still trying to fill it and offer more programming and have new voices on the air, things like that, more diversified programming. So
I'm trying to figure out a way to do a drop-in for my show.
Oh, that'd be
Great.
great.
I was wondering
Yeah.
about
You
that.
could do that
We
anywhere.
can,
I could just do the news segment, not do
Yeah,
anything.
that'd be awesome.
I'm
Really good.
gonna figure that out.
That'd be great. And we were even talking about trying to figure out the podcasting situation on or drop in on our end, but Brian can even help engineer it. Like if you don't want to splice it and stuff, or like add the music, he can help with that. We have some which you've been doing for podcasts, but we can send you more for drop-in stuff if you want. But that'd be great. So we're trying to get new drop-ins going. I've been working, trying to recruit LGBTQ community to do it. They're talking about doing it as a collective. So there would be a lesbian person, a gay person, a bisexual person. So there would be somebody representing each aspect of that community, not speaking on other people's behalf and other aspects of the community's behalf. So hopefully that's gonna go. That's
see,
really
poetry is gonna possibly do one too.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I
that's
think,
nice.
yeah, so I think they're gonna be, coming back very soon. We're just maybe gonna take a little break. Programming is on top of it, they know, we're gonna adjust day sheets to let people know, that's fine. Okay.
Thank you, Lenny.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff I can just, I'm curious and I couldn't figure this out myself.
Oh, yeah.
Is Lake Sarah within the programming, is Lake Sarah within the broadcasting radius?
Not the
No.
It's not.
Okay,
But they want people here to travel there.
well, that's exciting.
Well, are they gonna, hey, are they gonna give us tickets?
Probably, I don't know. Maybe
I'll go.
I'll find out.
Yeah, cause, in fact, I would really like to go because,
Or we could have a giveaway.
Yeah,
Tickets.
yeah, we get some.
Yeah.
So if we,
Yeah.
so do you want me to talk about underwriting now and the FCC thing? The checklist?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so we
good.
got that checklist from Jermaine and Vicky, they sent it to us and said, like, let's work on this. So Gina is a auditor in former life, so she's been helping, she's been great at it, there's like 80, 90 questions?
There's 95 questions.
95 questions and we are answering failing to most of them.
Ooh.
So,
Pending.
there's no yes or no, it's yes or pending. So, it will be a big project in the next, after we get through pledge drive, right now we're going through and evaluating all the questions and getting our answers. But it's going to be a team effort, it's going to be Bill Taylor, Bruce, Bob, Jermaine, I mean, there's a lot of people that need to be involved in doing more things.
Does this affect all the air shifters or does just the,
There
higher up?
might be a few little things you guys will have to adjust.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then, okay, so, I think that's that, but we'll
Okay.
have a bigger update next month.
definitely.
That's
That's great.
So then underwriting, I'm out of breath. Okay, so for March, we got, I have it in front of me, sorry. So we got Women Making Waves made their second payment for the year, they're doing it in thirds. Joshua Gallagher renewed. Urbana Park District, is going, we're doing one in-kind and one rotational contract, also paid and in-kind combination. Moccasin Creek this month, it was into February after the last meeting. And then Living Yoga confirmed and paid, we signed that contract. I met with, Courier this month, a couple weeks ago, and it was scary and he was intense, but we got it, I think, so that was good.
Wow,
Good for you.
today? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so that was a win, so hopefully that will be coming by next month, we'll have that update. And then, I've been trying to get, World Harvest and Strawberry Fields, he's been really busy with all their.
Cause they're moving, I mean, they're coming
Yeah,
down.
yeah, so,
Mhm.
hopefully that will come, hopefully, but I don't know.
World Harvest is moving?
Well, they're combining with Strawberry Fields,
Yeah.
it's the personal is the same
Right.
Yeah.
thing on there,
So-
yeah.
But, and Jeff Van Buren is renewing, he is from, State Farm, well, I don't know, Wells Fargo, I don't know. But he is, renewing, he just had to run it past their corporate, so, I think it's Wells Fargo. Yeah. I think it's, any questions?
Great
Oh,
job.
can I say quickly, that Urbana Park District thing, that we are gonna be in the 22,000 print copies, our logo is.
Oh, wow.
5,000 flyers and 22,000 brochures. will
How
be
big
on
is the logo? When you showed me, it was
It's
actually
pretty-
quite
Yeah,
big.
it's pretty big.
Yeah.
So it'll be really prominent on there, and we get free tabling at their events,
All
so.
right.
Oh my
It's like-
gosh.
Oh, and we got Imbibe Market relationship this year, so
That-
they're one of their lead sponsors, and, they are gonna have commercials on it, not commercials, but, ads, so.
Imbibe is the Shipyard thing?
No,
It's actually a
Imbibe-
separate group.
Yeah,
Separate thing.
Imbibe is, an organization that celebrates Urbana. So, they have a first Friday event that they, put out a map, this big, like, 2-sheet map, and, it talks about, like, going to all these fun things in Urbana. So, Bohemia will have special sales, and certain restaurants will have different sales.
Yeah, art gallery.
So you're supposed to, like, walk around Urbana and just enjoy Urbana. And it's gotten really popular really
Yes.
quickly.
They're very
So they
popular.
print like thousands and thousands of these flyers a month. April 7th is a part of Boneyard. They're gonna have their art market. We're having a satellite art show there with
Planning on being
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I'll be there with you, Denise.
And then, but we
I
are gonna have
signed
a
up,
great
yeah,
big
too bad.
logo
I
on
signed
their
up.
map with Common Ground. So that was a big win for us, so.
But only one question,
Yes.
you said that we get free tabling at, Urbana Park District events?
Those music events.
And is that as often as we want, or is it an obligation all the
So
time?
weekly things in the summer, like the weekly things.
Yep, it's the weekly
Oh my
things
gosh,
in the
that is so
summer.
cool,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the weekly music events in the summer, and then also the folk walk, it's Roots Walk, where you like walk through the park and there's like different.
That's really neat
Yeah,
too.
and we have a Westie emceeing it as a guest.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, so that's
Awesome.
exciting.
I only asked because when we used to table stuff in Urbana, we had 1 or 2 people that were really good about it, and we just
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
get, nobody else could actually get over there often enough to do it,
Yeah,
so.
so it's.
Over
it's
there,
really-
Urbana?
Some of us live there.
Yeah.
Right, I'm saying at the time.
Are we on the
And
agenda,
Sandra.
have we applied for a table for Quad Day?
It closes in, we've looked at it, the closing's not yet, so we've got a little time.
Okay.
I
That's
remember I looked at it last.
good to be on top of.
Yeah.
That's where I met Brian,
Yeah, that's where, we were there this year.
even though I'd seen him 100 times.
Yeah, so, we do need to do that soon, if we wanna do that again,
Yes,
Yes,
please.
yes, you do.
Yeah,
I
So-
very much.
Definitely.
yeah, so do that again, and then,
And just quickly, do we need to look at like the Urbana, what's it called, the Corn Festival and all that stuff, or?
That
yes,
costs.
yeah, those things are expensive.
Well, I know Taste of Champagne is extremely expensive. I
Yeah.
didn't know about the other ones.
I think PR committee should, I have a list from last year of all the spring and fall and summer festivals, so, PR committee in financial development needs to look at what's
Okay.
gonna be worthwhile, what's expensive, and dates.
Do we have like the Homer Soda Festival? Like,
We can do
Yeah,
that
let's do
again.
that.
yeah,
We should.
because I know I always go out there. Lots of
Oh my
folks
God.
do.
Did
People loved it last year.
Okay,
People loved
okay.
it last year.
Well, yeah,
It
yeah.
rained
Yeah, you
again, but
loved it
people
last
loved
year.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's a
I
lot of
think,
work, you have to pour a lot of soda.
It's okay.
It's-
Yeah,
it's
I
fun.
had fun doing it last
I
year.
had fun the year before.
yeah, so I think the PR committee needs to sit down and,
Mhm.
we can review my list of opportunities and see what they wanna do. I think those are super important. One, it will help underwriting in the long run, 'cause you're getting more faces out there. That's why I tried us doing the festivals and the parades and stuff, to let people know we're here and, get a face with us, so. That's that.
So we covered pledge drive.
Yes.
We haven't cracked 2,000 yet, today.
Not yet. We still have to.
That's right, it's only
The digital library committee thing was in
Oh, yeah.
there.
Digital library committee was in the packet.
Thank you for making the spelling correction there.
There's no F, it looks like something else.
On air shifter, they missed the,
Oh. Ha ha.
I thought I was
Yes.
No, I caught that.
I read my packet.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Are we up to podcasts?
We are up to podcast.
And that's under digital library community, correct?
No, it's
No.
after pledge drive.
Okay.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Gina.
Yeah.
My brain just skipped.
Okay.
Would you like to touch on podcast or
Sure.
on kind of the programming committees where you guys have kind of settled and thoughts?
Yeah, we've talked about it very generally, and I think we've come to, as a committee, the feeling that not necessarily the PC has to be the overseeing regulator of podcasts, but that minimally we should probably take a look at the subject of the podcast, that someone of a committee, not just one person, but there should be a committee that either agrees that it makes sense, that it fits with our model and our mission, so that maybe there'd be a proposal that would come in that would say, hey, I'd like to do a drop-in, and I think that Lainey and I brainstormed a little bit about this, and it feels like we think that there could be 3 different ways that we go about this, depending on if it's a podcast or a drop-in. Drop-ins to me are things that we're playing on the air. They're 5-ish minutes long. They are programming, in my mind. Those should go through programming committee. And I know that there was a proposal that got approved by the programming committee before I was on it, for 5 drop-in / podcasts, well, of which only 2 ever came to fruition. So I think that the PC feels like we should probably, as a committee, take a look at the subject matter. Not necessarily that we are going to do, so if it's a drop-in, I think it should follow we think it should follow the regular programming mode of after 13 weeks is a review, program, all that good stuff. Podcasting is a different animal. Maybe there's still some kind of a proposal that PC looks at, but then, and again, Lainey and I brainstormed a little bit about this, that maybe there's a subcommittee that are the folks that kind of take a look at podcasting and how the podcast is happening. And Sandra, you've been a big part of this, and I'm not trying to keep you out of this at all. Because podcasting has different regulations. There's different things that can be done that we can't do on the air. So maybe it makes sense to have, maybe a small subcommittee that takes a look at podcasts. Are they up to their mission, or are they following what their proposal is? And then, is there a 3rd iteration where it's a podcast, but it's also on the air, or a program that turns into a podcast? And then who really, not, I don't want to say regulate, but who makes sure that folks are following their own proposals? Right now, no one's doing that. Right. I don't believe anyone's ever done that. Black Lives Matter, we played the same thumb drive for 3 weeks because nobody pulled it off the shelf after a week because there's no procedure for podcasts or drop-ins or any of that. Literary Lives, I found out backhandedly that Literary Lives is ending. I never got copied on an email. I don't know, I guess I'm supposed to know, it's a drop-in. To me, that's programming, so it just seems like and I understand the thinking behind getting podcasts and drop-ins on the air and on our SoundCloud and out there on podcatchers. It gives us more visibility. But it seems like we did it without having any procedures or policies in place on how we handle this kind of digital technology for stuff that's either airing on the air or stuff that we're putting onto our SoundCloud.
Well, look, this is one of those topics that a lot of people are struggling with now. Podcasts in the last 5 years have gone from the new rage to, oh my God, podcasts are dead, back to the new rage again. I would say I totally agree that I think drop-ins, I don't even think, from my perspective, there's a debate. I think the board can talk about that.
Easy win,
But I think that I think that that's clearly programming, so I have no issues with that podcast. I don't know. I've been thinking about that a long time and trying to figure out how that gets handled. Lainey?
I was just gonna add to Gina's that, like she said, we have to figure out who's approving them, but also who's managing drop-ins, like she said, or directing them or managing. When Black Lives Matter wasn't submitting new ones, it's me and Brian emailing them over and over and over because we don't know who else should do it. So we need to have that procedure, knowing who should be following up with them when they're not producing good ones, or it's not fresh, or that we're putting it together. Who's in charge of them.
The only question I have is if the things we read,
Yeah,
you know, the cards,
Yeah.
PSAs.
yeah, if the PSAs have like an expiration date, I'm confused why the podcasts and drop-ins wouldn't have an expiration date.
Well, if they had if they had a specific event they're saying this is coming up, then we would, but we, they would
Some of them
say,
are evergreen. We had a good procedure about how they're supposed to have evergreens
Right.
made in
Right.
advance, so that if they
Right.
don't get one made one week, they
Right.
have that to fall back
and
on.
so we would use those, but then they weren't producing new ones,
Right.
so then we would be stuck with the same evergreen one, because it's either we had that or we had nothing, or an old one again, so, but we don't know who to turn to
Well, look,
answer that.
what I'd say is I think drop-ins, and you can take this or not, Gina, I think the drop-ins would be good to say, are you gonna produce a drop-in every single week? Are you gonna do it every other week? And if they don't live up to it, you pull it off the shelf and you send them a certain number of emails, and if they don't respond, you send them an email and go, you are temporarily suspended until they get back to you.
Well, I, in general, agree with everything that's been said. Just regarding the podcast drop-ins, just to say, like everything at WEFT, they've got dual purposes. They're fundraisers as well as, programming. So we're always trying to figure, we're trying to figure out how do we get young Black people on the radio, seriously. And how do I get Black Lives Matter on the radio? What is a minimum commitment kind of thing they can do? I went to their meeting, I solicited it, I produced it for them for several weeks, I got it proposed, I handheld to get it to happen. That's how it happened. That's how literary life happened. I stopped handholding, things started falling apart. That's the way it went. But we did have a lot of procedures set up, and we are still working on it. I've got so other ways we do it, just to say, CU Poetry might be doing one, because they were a guest DAJ on my show 2 weeks in a row. Not 2 weeks in a row, but 2 times in the last couple of months. I work with them, I'm talking to them, how would you do it, And I'm just gonna soapbox here for a minute. That's how, Imbibe, they were a guest DJ on my show. I suggested it to them. How are we gonna work together? How are we gonna liaison? All of this takes there's a lot going on behind the scenes that it isn't happening in committees. And so, I am gonna divert and it'll come back to podcast, but, one of the things that when we got advice from the NFCB and from WILL, I went to them and talked to them a lot about what we could do differently, what could help WEFT and turn it around. And one of the things that we got told by the NFCB is our model of governance doesn't work. It's too outdated. It doesn't work. And all the committees don't work because they make decisions too slowly. Things move faster than that. People do not volunteer the way they used to. It's not the same situation as it was in the 60s and 70s and even 80s. And we have to work within that and still figure out, we have to work within the model of governance we have and still try to figure out how to make changes in responding pretty quickly to things. I think that without Lainey, we're sunk. She is doing so much that committees would be doing. There's not a functioning committee at WEFT right now. We can talk about the Finance Development Committee, we can talk about the Financial Committee as if they're two different things, and the Treasurer's a different thing, and the HR Committee is a different thing, but it's a figment of our imagination. None of this is happening. And so what I'd really like you to consider is that we have, I think the thing that we need to do and we need to be thinking about is how can we have more paid staff in order to turn this around before we fail. And while we're using all the money we have to go to paid staff so that all these things can be taken care of, underwriters, community organizations, interns, volunteers, website, podcast, everything except on-air programming. On-air programming is a sacred cow at WEFT. And you'll notice ever since I've been involved, I have not touched it except through very specific, I'm making a proposal kind of way. I'm not saying anything else, like, because it's such a sacred cow. But everything else is falling apart. Everything else is being held together by you. It's only being held together by Lainey. And we really have to understand that and think about it in a way of how, like, let's not have this idea that there's going to be a financial development committee that's going to be able to do something that that hasn't why hasn't it been done already, in other words, you know.
Does saying there's no functional committee include the PC and the music committee? And...
It doesn't include the PC.
Okay,
Well,
'cause I
yes,
thought-
it kind of does, because they don't have quorum for 9 out of 10 meetings,
Okay.
really, seriously.
Gina doing one.
If Gina's doing the work, so it's,
I just wanted to make sure, I thought Gina was doing a good job,
Right,
so.
yeah. Gina
But they
is,
don't
but
have
her committee
quorum.
isn't.
Okay.
right.
Nothing
And so
to
it's,
do.
our governance is not working.
Okay.
The governance we have is not working.
Well,
And so we have to kind of figure out, are we going to, I think it's too big a problem to actually tackle, that we don't have the means to tackle the governance of it. So I think we have to work around it, but let's do it in a way that's telling the truth and not pretending like we have these committees that we do not have. And give Lainey, like, we have ideas about, you know, she's how it comes around with podcast is we can make rules for all of those things, or we could just keep plowing ahead and doing the best we can with the resources that we have until we get some footing behind us.
Well, to bring this
So-
back to this, maybe Gina, can you speak to, I like this, but I was curious, the podcast had different regulations. So what type of different needs might it have? Because I like the idea of having a subcommittee, like, of programming that just kind of, just because if there's extra requirements or just things that need to be reviewed for legal
There-
purposes, that makes sense.
It's actually, you know, and I haven't looked a ton into it, but it's more lenient requirements.
a
There's
lot
things-
more. You can-
Right, there's things that we have to do on air that don't have to be on podcasts.
Okay, and let me just say, it's because of podcasts that we have a $3,000 underwriting. Our only real underwriting came from having the Phoenix Botanical underwrite CU Progressive News as a podcast. That's $3,000 that we have. And that's because Lainey and I put our heads together and figured out how to friggin' do it. Not because a committee met and figured some big, you know, thing out. Lainey and I put our heads together and tried, and I think we just need to empower her to work one-on-one with whoever she can work with to get things done. If she can work with you to get a sound house going, you know, let's have her do it. Let's not have her work through committees. Let's try to figure out how to empower her, to give her the ability to manage the station like she's doing, but not to have to, I don't know how.
Wait for people to
Right.
show up.
I'm
Well,
serious.
Yes.
Look, if
Yeah.
this is the tack we wanna take as a board, I would love to go that direction.
I have no idea what's being proposed here. All I know is
It's
We've been talking
a
about
longer
that. They
process
might need-
discussion.
some regulation or less, like, different people to address it. If there's more lenient, that makes even more sense to me. There's a
Well-
subcommittee, the programming committee. But as you also said, it's not supposed to be complete regulation, like, you know, just kind of oversight, making sure it's doing all the steps. Everyone's got the training or whatever they need to have. That seems, so that's what I thought we were talking about, but then, like,
Right.
we've gone
Well,
very
I'm
many different
bringing
places.
it up under
so-
this because it's about
What's
to
that
come up under
question?
website.
I mean, no one wants to
Okay.
take
Even
podcasts off the
before I
air.
go, Denise has had her hand up for like 5 minutes.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
Denise,
it's true.
sorry.
I totally forgot what I was gonna say now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's awesome. Just kidding.
I know, really, that's
No,
part of
no.
what I was, no, I mean, seriously, in all seriousness, really, that's what I was gonna say, is you are totally awesome and you're doing a fantastic job. But there are a lot of, not a lot, I'm sorry, not a lot. There are maybe a handful of people that are also trying to micromanage everything that, you know, Lainey or maybe some other people are trying to do. Let her do her job, you know, rather than coming in and trying to micromanage everything. And, that's really kind of
Well,
what I'm
that
saying.
speaks to what
Okay,
Sam was
hold on,
saying
hold
too,
on, hold
actually,
on.
is not to
Andy, hold on.
micromanage her, not to interfere
hold
with
on.
the
And,
Top. Let,
I also, I know, I'm just, you're doing wonderful things, Sandra, but, you know, I get really upset because, it seems like, and it's wonderful that you're donating all of this money and all of this stuff, but it seems like it also kind of gives you like a passport to, you know, whatever, yeah. That's just my personal opinion.
So Sandra's been saying that we need to empower Lainey, and I'm noticing, and I realize I've had follow-up questions, but I'm noticing we have, the next of the three big things on here is the sexual harassment policy,
Yeah.
that Lainey needs the support of that, and we've already pushed it off a month, so I feel like if we're talking about supporting
And
Lainey,
yeah.
we need to get to that.
That has to be passed tonight.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't, yeah, so,
So I would, whatever motion I need to make, that we do the sexual harassment policy, and
Well,
then we can hopefully.
then I think we're good.
Because we did meet on that,
Yeah,
so.
first, I need a motion, a second, then we can do discussion.
I'll motion, that's what I think. I
I'll
did.
second.
Okay,
What are you
discussion.
motioning?
To revisit the sexual harassment policy that everybody was supposed to spend the month looking over, and we had a meeting about it, and now we can hopefully discuss and pass it.
Yes,
Did we make those changes, Andy, in that I sent you, Jermaine?
yeah, I think it
Okay,
made,
is it in here?
more
Okay.
inclusive as far as sex, gender.
Perfect.
And I noticed the second draft fixed the things,
Mhm.
the brackets were a little weird, but they're brackets, so it's cool.
And I know,
There is a misspelling in the form.
Oh,
In the
Yeah,
what?
air shifter is misspelled again, except
Oh,
this
no.
time, there's an F but no T.
Well,
Okay,
that's better,
Shipper.
but.
That's better.
in the, which form? Oh,
In the form, the actual.
so this is the
waiver
alcohol
form.
policy.
Oh, we were not looking at that
No,
one
we're
yet.
looking at the sexual
No.
harassment.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so,
Alright, jumping ahead.
I remember that, but it's a different.
alright, so we're looking right now at, BR 217-001, instituting a sexual harassment policy for Western Prairie Area Incorporated.
Yep.
Don't have to follow up thingy. Something like that. What was it? Oh, maybe that's 002. Okay, I'm fine with 001, but I like 002's edition.
So,
We had a motion and a second, by the way, do we vote or?
we had a motion and a second, so now we have discussion.
Okay.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this then going to be added to the board SOP? Once approved?
The policy, it was not intent to add the policy to SOP.
Then where will we house this record of policy?
So when we sign these resolutions, they're going into the public binder as well as they're gonna be posted digitally.
Yes.
So there's gonna be station policies that people are gonna be able to refer to and go in and get, go and review upon request with Laney. So
Okay.
these are gonna be public policies of the station.
Right.
and Andy's keeping them digitally, correct?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
Yeah, good.
under the archive
Okay.
website, and it says station policies, right? I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
you read this one.
Good,
Yeah.
because in the past, this has been approved and then
Right.
lost.
Yeah,
Exactly, we know that to happen, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming we need to vote on the two separately.
yeah.
Um,
So any more discussion on 001?
I'm fine with it.
Alright.
I think one question is Lainey fine with it?
I have not read it since the edits were made, I'm sorry, but I did read it originally and I felt confident.
You don't see red flags like, oh my god.
I don't.
Okay.
And I guess my question is, I should have read it, if the Human Resource Committee, which is Andy, correct?
Yeah, I guess so right now.
Okay, and me, but if
Yeah.
it's me, then I can't go to
Or if
me.
it's
Right.
me, then yeah, it might
Yeah,
be weird or
so,
something.
yes, I think as long as we know that, somebody would come to me or Andy or whoever HRC at that point, but if it's me and HRC harassing that person, they should go to a board member. or
Right.
board
Yeah,
member.
and all of these, there's a contingency in here that specifically says if any of these people are party, they are
Okay.
bypassed.
That's, I
Right.
thought I
Yes.
remembered
So
that, okay.
conflicts of interest are.
Yeah, they
I-
are.
Yeah.
They are.
I would
And
move,
Justin knows the 002 where there's a special meeting with a certain.
Oh, no.
I would move that
That's
we
what I said.
have a,
We already moved it for approval.
oh,
But yeah.
how did I miss that?
So now we need,
For discussion.
Yeah, we only moved for
This is for
discussion,
adverse things, if you have complaints or whatever.
because there were no
this is-
motions
this
to
is-
vote on it.
okay,
Um,
so I guess we move.
do we need to do this by roll call?
No, because it's
Is
not
that in here?
SOP.
No,
or
that's
anything.
in section 002.
Okay, so motion to vote.
I will make the motion to vote.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
All right.
Oh.
All those in
Oh.
favor of approving, All those in favor of approving the sexual harassment policy for West Prairie Area Incorporated as presented? Andrew, count the ayes.
We should go
Nice.
around.
Okay,
Did anybody vote no?
Oh, that's a good
Consider it counted.
Okay.
so that's
7-0.
acclamation it is.
I don't really like doing it that way, but it's faster.
Alrighty. Okay, so now we progress to
The
2017-002, which are the SOPs. Basically, this references special meetings specifically for sexual harassment.
Okay.
That was 001, we just.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
I
now
would.
now we're to 002. This does institute a new section into the SOP, so it does need to be a roll call, and it needs a two-thirds majority.
Okay. Discussion?
So I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to.
Just make a motion.
Yes.
Motion.
I would
Just make a
second.
motion to approve.
That's what I
second.
think I'm making,
Okay.
as long as nobody has a long soapbox discussion about it.
Well, that's the whole point, you make a motion.
You have the motion,
And then you
and
have
then
the
discuss.
discussion.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
motion to approve with discussion.
Okay, and second.
Second.
Andy seconded.
Okay, and discussion.
I just really like that we have one because I think it'll make it easier. Hopefully we won't have to be in a situation again, but
Yeah.
if we are, I think it kind of clarifies things in a few points, which I just think it would take, because sometimes one is not often sure what one should do or shouldn't do, so I think it helps that out a little bit more.
And I like that we didn't go the whole month and not discuss it.
Yeah, and then also like the final vote sort of identifying information, so like I really like I like the work that's.
And there's a little grid you can use to mark people's votes here if you want.
Okay.
Yep. Let's do roll call vote.
Oh, I guess do I do it?
No, Andrew can do this.
Okay.
Secretary. Andrew, roll call.
Okay. Now, real quick for this, are we also calling on chair to vote?
At the end.
At the end? Very good.
Right, so-
All right. Todd?
I vote aye, yes.
Todd votes aye. Andrew? Andrew
Well,
votes
Sandra's
aye.
next.
Oh. Sorry, I thought I counted myself next in the rotation. Okay. Sandra, aye. Andrew, aye. Andy?
Aye.
Denise?
Aye.
Aye. Vicky?
Yes.
Barb is absent.
Jermaine?
Yay.
So 7-0.
All right.
Yeas have it.
Hey, good.
7-0.
Yes.
Is Barb absent, or she applied for a leave of absence, I believe, via email?
Right.
Yeah.
So do you guys have to vote on her actually being on a leave of absence?
No, it's just
No,
approved.
she's allowed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
I think
chair
it's after a
approved it.
certain
Yep.
period then, but since she was already checked,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Good question.
Alrighty. Now we are to new business, which is 2017-005. Alcohol policy. Basically, this codifies that policy that's been on signs throughout the station, and then also outlines a process for people to apply for waivers. Because we've been hearing that people want to know how they get that and what it's for.
Now, am I understanding that it was never actually written when it was passed? Or we just can't find
It
it?
was
We-
in the
we-
minutes, it was only in the minutes.
Yeah, it was not.
There was never a draft?
No, that was actually, I had argued for it, because I thought, well, even though I don't particularly like the policy, but since it's on the books, then people need to know how to properly follow it, or not, like, or if they're gonna do something they would get in trouble for or something.
Right,
They
so
may
we can
not know.
stop looking for it because it was only.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Okay.
so I'm really happy about that.
So is this the resolution here? No, this is
I
for
have
a waiver.
I have a question about number 2 there. Sometimes things get, like, there might be a special event, maybe some, I don't know, a performance coming into town and get the notice a couple weeks beforehand. Well, that's a bit of lead time, and I certainly think at least a week before the show, or before you might want something. But depending on when it is, maybe you'd have to wait like a whole month, or you'd have to, the request, it has to be no less than a week prior to a regular meeting of the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do you vote then in an email? Because if it's not to the board meeting.
no, I'm just saying that seems like a long, someone would have to know almost like a month
Right, that's what I'm
beforehand,
saying.
and that seems like for some events, that may be kind of very difficult.
Right.
So how do you?
I certainly feel
for
at least a
those-
week ahead of time.
For
but-
those emergency times, who approves it and what's the mechanism?
I have a discussion too.
Okay, so first off, we need a motion to approve in a second, then we can discuss actually.
Approve the discussion, you mean?
Could I get a clarification before we have the motion? If we don't have a specific policy right now spelled out, in the time before we pass this, what will be the continuing policy since it's apparently not written down?
No alcohol.
Well, there is a policy, it's on the sign, no alcohol in the
Right.
station unless a waiver is granted by
Right.
the board.
But that doesn't seem
That's
backed up
the-
by anything.
Backed up by what? It's backed up by a vote and the minutes.
So you're
Okay,
saying there wasn't a written rule behind it?
The
Right.
rule is exactly
Well,
that.
is, like, basically a rule was passed by the board, but it's not a policy to.
It wasn't
Right.
codified.
But if,
Exactly,
but
that's
if
the
we
right
can
word.
pass
It's not
this tonight,
codified.
it's really no point in arguing about
well,
it.
I'm saying if this doesn't pass, then what happens?
Well, we just need to work, I think, maybe on the wording.
Right.
I'm fine.
Because I
I'm
didn't
fine
see
with
this
making
in the
this-
packet,
like I
so I
said,
couldn't review it.
It's already on the policy,
'cause
so
of
I won't, I
it-
mean, it's already a rule, I'm not fighting that.
Right.
I just want to make sure that we
Get
get
it
a waiver,
down.
yeah. And that's
So-
why I was saying, I think basically almost like a month ahead of time, no less than a week before the next, like, that might be very difficult for some people to do. I certainly think at least a week ahead of time regardless. And I'm not sure it should be reviewed by someone, a set group.
Maybe
think.
the board could grant Laney the power to make those decisions between meetings.
Well, what I'm afraid of is, I don't want then people to direct,
welcome.
if she doesn't feel it's appropriate or not, then if it's a committee, then someone will get a little bit less angry about something than if
Did
it's an
anybody check
individual,
on,
they can kind
on
of maybe.
insurance?
That's a good question.
I did not.
No.
And I think I'm agreeing, but if I'm not agreeing, I would volunteer that, yeah, I don't want Lainey to be the one that people get mad at if she says no.
Right, so like, well, at least with the committee, that's,
Could be HR.
you can really try to.
About the,
EC.
the executive committee.
I was thinking perhaps that.
Well,
I'd have to have a set
Not.
meeting date.
If we could ever meet,
Not
yeah.
doing it
Well, we
like
can also do
this.
that by email though, that's something that like basically,
I'm gonna go for that.
it seems pretty like, so and so would like to do this, it starts kind of last minute, but whatever, like it's week, whatever, two, and then just email between the group of us. And then we can decide yes or no, because it's not really much beyond that, not least of which when they have a waiver, they've had to sign something, they're responsible for whatever they do, so, you know, any damage, they're responsible or something.
And I think when we
I
talked
don't
about the
think-
insurance beforehand, it was if we weren't serving it, there
Right,
wasn't.
right.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
it,
the
that was
discussion.
it.
So was that left when it serve anything and.
Well, that was discussion, but we didn't
Right.
really
No.
look into
Right,
it.
right,
I
so
have
that was
a-
the discussion.
I have a suggestion request to maybe speed things along. Are you going to be part of the discussion for the agendas for the next couple of meetings?
Yes.
Okay.
And what Todd's referring to is I will not be here for April and May.
Right, and apparently
I've
I
got-
will be.
I've got to work on those 2 Mondays.
Right, so my question is, now that we've at least broached the subject of this, could we maybe do something tentative and formally revisit this after we've looked into the insurance? Because I don't like the idea of codifying something that, again, is
Basically, I like everything on here, just the time little thing there, but that's fine with me if you'd like.
So right now, we're saying you can apply for a waiver, but probably waivers will not be granted.
That's right.
right.
Right, so we're still, so it's all just staying put until we have the
Right.
insurance information, but I have a request for one.
Yeah, that's actually, I know.
A request, what?
One of
Request
these,
for an alcohol waiver.
Right,
And I
So-
just don't think we should have alcohol waivers, so that's where I'm.
well, what I'm saying is, if we have a request, could we deal with the request tonight, and then maybe next month, even though you won't be here, could we maybe formalize this a little with the insurance information and Andy's consideration?
Are you motioning to table?
So your
I'm
motion-
motioning to,
just table the policy.
now that we've had some
Right.
discussion, to
Yes.
continue the discussion after we've actually studied up on it, rather than just passing something for the sake of passing.
Okay, so 2017-005 to table?
I would table my own motion to go ahead and do it. Or I would retract my motion to go ahead and do it.
Table.
Is the request for one separate?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's
That
move
is-
on to
Okay,
that, is
so
what I'm suggesting.
2017-006,
Oh, I see that now.
resolution to grant a waiver for the April 7th
Wait,
Art
we need
shows.
a second on the motion.
Now, wait a minute, why would we grant a waiver to?
Because it's granted under the current.
Well, the question I
We've
have,
we've already granted at least one waiver before,
this doesn't
so it would
appear,
be still operating on.
this doesn't appear to be at Weft though.
No, it is.
Okay,
The April 7th is, there's one at left. So I can I give details, or do we need a vote to talk?
If-
Discuss.
Well, it's a motion, the parliamentary procedure is you do motion to vote, second, and then you discuss.
well,
Okay.
I can make the motion, but if it's Lainey applying for it, I'd certainly like to hear her reasoning, so.
Which you would during discussion.
Okay, so, Andrew has his hand up and then I'll motion.
My only question is, okay, did we vote the table in full for 005?
I just
Yes.
withdrew my motion.
Yeah.
Oh, you withdrew motion.
So I don't think we have to vote if I take back my motion.
005 is tabled.
Right, so I move that we allow this to start so that Lainey can tell us what it is.
Okay, so April 7th, we're having an art show, reception, at part of Boneyard. So we've been working really hard on it, it's a pledge drive event. We asked for alcohol waiver because, other art shows we've been to have had them. We're trying to set the tone to be a nice event. We're gonna have acoustic music. We are having it catered with some finger food, some hors d'oeuvres. So we thought it would be a nice event. It would be donated alcohol. West would not be serving it, but we do have a licensed bartender who would be overseeing the alcohol and, verifying that everybody was old enough with the marking system.
It's not BYOB.
No. So it's not like a BYOB, it's not a drunk fest or anything like that. It was, thought to be a nice event.
Right. Does
but-
the licensed bartender mean that we're not culpable?
Yeah.
Well, so West, I think,
Well, it is more culpable.
well,
It
it's culpable
does.
for what?
I would actually agree that it makes you slightly more culpable.
It does, and so does not being a BYOB. We're providing it, we're
Well,
providing
they
the
pour it
bartender.
themselves,
We
they
will-
pour it themselves, so it's not like we're serving it,
Mhm.
we
No,
just
but
have
the
to be
bartender.
managing it. She's managing, so that's what you guys have to listen to, so she's
Okay.
not serving it, she's managing it, like I said, checking IDs, and then,
Making
here's our
sure to cut
options.
people off or something.
Yeah, it's like,
or-
oh, you're
Then you're
just
taking
downing it.
responsibility,
Mhm.
and that's how, if you would be sued, if we would be sued, that's what it would come down to.
I was gonna say, if someone
Totally.
outside the station happens to bring this donated alcohol, and then that bartender just happens to oversee it, that sounds like it would be a completely
Well, I
different
still
thing.
have permission to have the alcohol there.
That's true,
This is
but
true.
I think
So
we're
it's
just
just how I
reviewing.
told you I was being responsible.
Right.
Our guest
Our
has a
guest has
I have a
responsibility.
comment, so, I don't know what they do now, but many years ago in Carbondale, we had to get these certificates where I worked to actually serve alcohol, and when you do that, it means you have a course, you take this course with the police or whoever, and they show you how to deal with people, and that may reduce some of the responsibility the station has, if the person who's overseeing this actually has one of those.
Mhm. She
Now, I don't know
has,
if they do that up here.
she has,
She
what
has
is
the
it?
state certification.
She has a state certification to be responsibly trained to serve alcohol. The C, it has letters, I don't know. It's like
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
yeah, so she has
So-
that, so she would be responsibly managing it
So who's
Now-
serving it then?
themselves. You pour your own cup.
Oh,
But if you're just sitting there like pounding.
Okay, I
know a place-
yeah,
I know a
place
like,
that
well, we're
does
gonna do
that.
And it is Megan, that former staff member, so obviously it's somebody that we all trust, but, we do trust her. So those are my thoughts. We're just trying to make it an event, a lot of other art shows in the area, this is how they do it, I'm trying to structure it after them.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
if we don't approve it, we don't approve it, and I rearrange things. But we're just trying to make it into an event. In my experience, people donate more money when they're being fed and provided with food and drink. That's just my experience from fundraising. They're gonna give you money, they stay longer because they've been fed, and they have maybe alcohol. But just, it's a nice event, so, whatever.
This
That's
would
what
need to be a roll call vote, right?
Nope.
No?
other discussion, I guess, it doesn't need to just be me, but, thank you.
Anybody else?
If it's my motion, I'd like it to be a roll call vote.
Alright, when somebody calls for one, you make it one. Okay.
No more discussion?
I just have a comment. It seems like if the alcohol's being donated to WEF, then it's WEF's alcohol.
Could it be donated to somebody who's a part of the event? Like,
And I don't know, it just seems, I don't know what the law is, but it just seems to me that if it's a donation, it's now WEF's. And that means WEF is now serving
Booze.
alcohol.
Right.
That we are providing the alcohol that was provided to us.
Is there an individual that's providing it, or okay, so what I'm saying is, what you could do is,
It's
If-
that,
look, if it's BYOB, you can bring it and give it to other people. So if it's individual, perhaps in that context, so it's not being donated to WEF, it's not being donated at all. Someone, whoever happens to show up with a ton of liquor, and there's someone that's gonna watch it as a license, and they are going to watch that and make sure
Right,
that's legal,
I
and then like, so
agree, I'm far more comfortable with that.
Yeah,
than
that's
it being
actually
donated to the
legitimate,
station.
yeah.
Alright,
So who do I
so,
donate it to?
Sandra has her hand up.
Yeah.
Sandra,
yeah, we're all a bunch of suppositions here. Nobody really knows what the law is, nobody knows what the rules are, nobody knows what our insurance says, nothing. And,
I'll ask my lawyer friend.
but
That sounds
we
like a
can,
good idea.
unless we're willing to ask a lawyer that we're getting, unless we're willing to get a legal opinion and get this figured out, then we don't need to do it, because there's no point in putting ourselves at risk.
I have a question then.
We're the ones who get sued, the board.
I have a question then. Since
It's
obviously this
Yeah.
is, since obviously this is important to Lainey, the question I guess I would ask is, if we grant this tonight, would you follow up with the protections with the understanding that you would be responsible?
Protections of insurance, I'm sorry.
Running it by your person in the know, running it, but finding out what the other businesses are doing. Because this is the only opportunity we have to grant this, is tonight, because we don't have another board
Well, I
meeting.
certainly don't want you guys to grant it just because it's me.
Oh, no, I don't mean that at all. I'm just
No.
saying, if there did wind up being consequences, do you want it enough that you would then be the person to go to explain it?
I mean, I would explain it, but the board has insurance and I don't.
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah.
the
I don't
way-
know if it would affect our deductible or whatever.
well, we could theoretically approve it on contingent and say, vote on it tonight, approve it, and let Lainey and run it by a lawyer.
Run it by a lawyer is
Yeah.
gonna cost.
My suggestion would be, we could conditionally grant it, and then it would be up to Lainey to find out whatever she wants to find out about in the meantime. But it's not like we can revisit this before the event. And we're short on time tonight anyway.
Mhm.
And we've known about this for over a month, so it seems like we should vote on it one way or the other, vote our convictions.
We've known about the request for over a month.
I thought so.
I mean, I would put it out there.
I read about it a long time ago, and I
yeah.
didn't even realize it was controversial because it's been communicated pretty effectively and consistently.
Alright, so, Andrew, roll call.
One moment while I finish up the note here.
And does it need to be majority or 2/3?
Majority.
Okay.
Okay.
So what exactly are we voting on?
Whether to give Lainey a conditional waiver
For this one event,
in the event that she wants to use it.
yes.
Because she can
Okay.
still decline if
Okay.
it's a
That is
bad
actually-
idea,
okay.
but
Yeah.
this would authorize her,
Yes, yes.
because we don't have another opportunity.
Can I see that list again so I can just use it for a moment?
Sure. I think it's after I say that, I have to find, there it is.
Okay,
Just use a different letter, use
I know.
Q or
Sure.
something.
Okay, Todd,
I would say we're voting.
Okay.
I would say conditionally, yes.
okay, well, this is all voting on this condition, is that
Yeah,
correct?
so the answer is,
So it's just a flat
with
yes.
some hesitation, I would say yes.
Okay,
Hesitation doesn't count.
You can't note that.
it
It's
does
yes
for a
or
vote,
no.
however.
My vote is yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Sandra,
I'm voting no with trepidation.
can I abstain with escalation? No, move here. Andy,
Yes.
Wait, you're
excitement.
abstaining?
I'm not abstaining, I'm joking.
Okay, how are you voting?
Abstain, he said, I thought.
I will vote yes.
Okay, Andy, you're voting yes?
Yes.
Denise,
Yes, and I don't even drink.
Me neither.
Vicky,
I have to say no.
Okay, Jermaine,
all right,
do you vote?
Yeah, and I vote yes, yeah.
with the
Based on
contingent, that is part of
Yes.
the vote.
So it passes 5-2.
Yep,
Okay,
I will
And
write
again,
those
you
yeas and
don't
nays
have
down.
to use it, but this
Right.
allows you to use,
so
or
go
enables you.
look into it and, yeah.
That's like, the only person that brought anything alcoholic, like a 6-pack of beer to the last one we got away with
Pizza
too.
party.
Yeah, it was funny. I was the only person, like after all the thing we went through. So like, yeah, it was just I had one.
I didn't get to come.
Yeah, I know you're saying.
Where are we
So
on
I
time?
still, I think it probably will not ultimately be an issue.
All right.
Right.
2017-07 would be NFC. When is the NFCB conference? I don't remember.
Next what?
July 16th and
You have the
17th.
time?
No, 17th and 18th.
What?
And where?
Colorado.
Okay.
Denver.
Denver.
What's going
Wow.
on?
The
NFCB.
conference at San Diego.
We're talking about 7C.
7C.
Yeah, it's the end. The
Should I go
resolution.
back?
Well, I've asked to put it on the agenda because because I think it would do a world of good for us to go. But I think it'd also do a world of good for us to actually use our NFCB membership in general and use it to have people reading the listservs and to have using our consultant on a regular basis.
I'm sorry, I don't even, what is NFCB?
Community broadcasters.
Thank you.
Yeah, we pay
Okay.
like $1,800 a year maybe.
So I think we're all in agreement that that would be a good thing. Are you asking for some funds, or are you asking for
Well,
just
so
some
I'm
support, or what is
throwing.
the
I was going to propose that Lainey and I go, but I was going to think about donating the money on top of the money that I'm donating, and I'm probably not going to do that, so it's probably going to be a moot point.
How much does it cost?
Yeah.
Altogether, the most it would cost would be $3,000, but it is. I mean, when you look at what the cost of the hotels are and the NFCB fees and
Is that 3,000
travel.
for 2 people or for 1?
2.
So are you
It
withdrawing
it wouldn't be much different for one. This is what my proposal is, that if we decide to go and I earmark funds for it, can we go through WEFT by me making a charitable donation to WEFT and it be paid for through WEFT's
Is it cheaper for, like, through West? Is that, like, is there?
it's a tax write-off for me.
write-off. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah, so I wouldn't, if I paid for it myself, then it wouldn't be a tax write-off, because
Okay.
it wouldn't be my donation to a nonprofit,
Right.
and then the nonprofit spending the money.
Okay,
So my proposal would be that if we decide to do it, and if I decide to fund it, that it gets channeled through WEFT.
So it would be a separate check, and in the memo line, it would say NFCB.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, although you'd make the contribution, it's WEFT paying the bill on the paperwork. Okay.
Yeah, I guess the question is, can a donor earmark funds for a specific,
Absolutely.
but necessary, like, not like generic,
Anything.
but
Well,
again,
we've done
for a
it
We did that
specific
with the
need.
winter repeal, although then people asked what we should spend the money on, and it had
Right.
already been.
No,
We
but,
shouldn't
but
have.
we do that a
So,
lot.
but
Power
yeah,
to the tower
okay.
comes to mind.
Then
Yeah, that's what I'm
seems-
talking about.
Yeah. I would definitely say that yes, Sandra, if you're
Lainey, how long
Offering-
would that take you? How long does it, how long are you gone?
I would be out of, well, so I think it was the 17th and 18th. My son's birthday is the 16th, so I would wanna,
Sure.
maybe leave that night or something, but next morning.
It'd be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, so I'd be gone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and during the day I may not have much cell phone, or email availability, but I would definitely be working
Right.
still through it.
We
I
did,
would be in contact.
we did approve this for Lori once, right?
Yeah, I'm sure, I know she went before, and that's why I was wondering, is like,
I think she went to Grassroots Radio Conference.
maybe, I think it's a great idea.
Oh.
Well, the national one was in Urbana. So.
Yeah.
I think she-
Anyone want to second it?
So,
I'll second it.
yeah,
okay.
Brian can pretty watch over things.
Yeah, so he would
locally
be
if necessary.
based
What are the dates of this again?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll scratch
Or
that for
July.
now.
So what I would say is, yeah, if Sandra, you are dedicating money directly through WEFT, specifically for that purpose, I have no opposition at all.
All right,
Um,
want to call it?
so basically, I need a motion to.
I made the motion.
And I seconded.
Right.
That's what got here.
So does Andrew need to take the vote?
It doesn't need to be a roll call unless somebody calls for it.
No.
So all those in favor of approving
Contingent. on the
WEFT,
location.
contingent to Sandra donating for said All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Nays.
Any nays?
Acclamation it is.
It passes.
Alrighty. Now I need a motion to go into closed session. We will be discussing a personnel issue as well as closed session minutes.
Right.
So do I need to leave at this point?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Thank you for
Thank you for
coming.
coming,
Thank you
Rob.
so much for coming.
Me too.
I hope we didn't scare you.
Thank you, Gina.
Lainey doesn't need to stick around, does she?
This is the bridge in Boston.
Lainey has the option.
Yeah, you can stay or you can leave.
Do we care if I go?
I would say if you have stuff to do, go on.
Yeah.
Oh, if you have stuff to do. She'll
You
answer.
had nothing to do.
Like sleep, maybe.
Or feed
All
the
right.
children.
Yes.
We need a roll call.
Right, we don't need Lainey back after this, right? Until the workday, you know.
Thank you, board members.
Thank
for
you.
For all your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Rob.
Thanks.
Come again.
Meeting you.
Who seconded the vote to move to
Hope we
closed
didn't
session?
scare you away.
I'm not sure.
Sandra